All right. Well, welcome into the eighth episode of Louis Talk Sports. We're here with Dave, the UOP basketball coach. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started into coaching?
Yeah, I mean, really what happened was I was in my first year of university, hurt my knee. So that year I couldn't play. And at the same time, my high school coach got a job last minute uh, at another school, and they didn't have a coach. So I couldn't play that year because of the injury, and they needed a coach. So they asked me if I'd be interested, and it was good. It was a little awkward because I was coaching some of the guys I had played with the year before. Um, but yeah, I started coaching, and I went back and kept played in university while I was still coaching. I stopped coaching the high school team and started coaching a AAU club team while I was in university. After university, kind of dabbled in the pro world playing, and then decided I just wanted to coach.
Now, you coached in Canada, right? You did 18 years?
Yeah,
Tell us about that experience.
I mean, it was great. We won a ton of national championships. We had some really good teams. It was a non-scholarship school, but we got guys who all wanted to be pros, and I mean, they trained. It was a really positive experience because the type of guys we got and where they started their university career to where they ended is pretty incredible. A lot of these guys didn't get offered scholarships at the worst D1 teams schools in the country, and by the time they were done, every time a D1 team came up, we beat Sweet 16 teams. We beat a Wisconsin Final Four team by 20 with guys who couldn't get scholarships out of high school, and had probably 10 guys play on our senior men's national team with the NBA guys, like being the only non-Power Four, non-NBA guys on the national team. So to watch those guys work at that level day in, day out, and improve at that level and get better, it was pretty rewarding. And you learn a lot, not necessarily basketball wise. I mean, I think I probably helped them basketball wise more than they taught me basketball wise. But when you're around people like that, they teach you a whole lot about being determined and hard work. And I mean, I played at a pretty high level, and but looking at what those guys did when they were playing for me, I sort of look at it, and I joke with them that if I was nearly as smart and disciplined as they were, or they were nearly as gifted and talented as I was, and it was a joke, but semi-serious, God knows how good I could have been if I had met them before I actually played university. Because these guys just they had a maturity about them that was well beyond their years, and almost to a person. I was coaching our senior men's national team for 18 years. Guy coaching Andrew Nemhard, RJ, Jamal, Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, all those guys, and it was important to me that I continue to do that while I was coaching at Carleton, because it allowed me to get to see all the best kids in Canada as they were growing up, even though I wasn't coaching them. I was almost in a perfect spot because I could evaluate them, I could get to know them, but I didn't have to cut them from youth teams. So I didn't have to get to a situation where they were annoyed at me, but I got to be around them a lot and got to know who the good kids were, who the hardworking kids were, who the kids who probably weren't going to achieve at the level they were capable of were. And about just it was really important. And if I was going to keep coaching at Carleton, I was going to keep doing the national team. The problem is I had two young kids who were both playing AAA hockey and trying to play high level basketball, which is tough when you're playing high level hockey in Canada. But I never got to see him practice, never got to see him play, never got to see anything because I was never around. So opportunity presented itself where I could oversee both the men's and women's teams at Carleton and sort of look over both programs while not necessarily having the responsibility of having to be there between sort of 4:30 and 9 at night and travel on the weekends. I could be there for home games and be at all the practices that happen before sort of 5 o'clock at night. So I could be at all my kids' stuff. I could coach them in basketball. I could coach them in hockey. So that 3 years was great. And the last year, we won the national championship with both teams. As first time in 60 years, I think, that
Oh,
both men's and women's basketball at the same university, won the national championship in Canada. And at that point, most of my wife's family were in Ottawa. I had grown up in Ottawa, but the ties were more her to her family, and she sort of said, maybe it's time to try something new. So, it was a tough decision because I enjoyed the position at Carleton. Plus, I was working almost full time with the Ottawa Senators in the NHL, and that was an awesome experience. The kids were heavily into hockey, and I never told them this. I always told them how terrible they were, but they were actually pretty good. So they were leaving a pretty hockey haven, hockey hotbed area to go to Texas, where it wasn't the same for them. And but we chose to go. We got to go to the Big 12. Grant was unbelievable. McCaslin. The first 2.5 months was interesting, but the last 5.5 months was as good a time as I've had in the game. It was great. The Big 12 was great. Um, Lubbock was great for me because I lived in the gym and I lived in the arena and I lived on charter flights everywhere. I lived with not like unlimited food, and it was okay for my boys because they kind of transitioned from high level hockey to high level basketball. So they kind of started living in the gym and in the facility, which was unbelievable. And but it was a tough transition for them to move at that age. They're 16, 14 now. They were, I guess, 13 and 11 then. It's a tough time to leave. And then it was really tough on my wife. She didn't know anyone. Lubbock's it's good place, but it's in the middle of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
literally 6 hours from Dallas, 6 hours from Oklahoma City, 6 hours from Albuquerque, 7 from Houston, and it's all desert. If you watch Landman, that is Lubbock. And it was tough on the family. So when this opportunity presented itself, really the family was as much part of the decision as I was, because Northern California, you can't beat Northern California. Still a tough move for the kids because it was another move and making new friends and trying to find a way to blend in. It almost becomes when your coach's kid like being like a military kid. You get moved so much. You're always transitioning, and it's not easy for kids. And for our kids, it was almost extra difficult because at least if you're a military kid, you're kind of moving from similar lifestyles, similar cultures. We went from Ottawa, Canada, the capital of Canada, to Lubbock, Texas. There's not a lot
That's a
of
big
there's
difference.
not a lot of places in North America you could move that had different ideologies and cultures than those two places. Then we went from Lubbock, Texas to California. I'm not sure there's many places within the United States that you could move that would be more different. So, it's one thing for an adult, it's another for kids. So it's been a transition. I think they're feeling pretty good about it now. It's taken a couple of 18 months. The winning last year helped. We didn't lose much at Carleton. We won a ton of national championships. My last 11 years, we lost 10 games.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, in the country, and then against the D1 teams we played, we went 65 and 15 our last 80 games. So my boys weren't used to losing very often. So the Texas Tech, we made the tournament, finished third in the Big 12, and that was okay. But even that, I think we were 21 and 12. Losing 12 games was a bit of an eye opener for my youngest. My first year here, when we didn't have time to recruit, that was tough. It was tough on everybody, especially him, but everybody. But last year, got back to getting 18 wins and kind of going in the direction we were semi used to. So hopefully we can continue that.
Why do you think you were able to make such a big improvement? Because the first year wasn't as good as you mentioned, and this year you guys did really well. I think you guys missed the tourney barely.
Yeah, I think the big difference was the first year we didn't really get the job until third week in April. A lot of factors to that. I wasn't going to look at the job until we were done with tech. The portal had already opened when the tournament had started, and I wasn't even looking at move. I wasn't looking at any jobs until we were done. Then once it took a bit after that to finalize getting the job, and then we thought the visa would just flip over, but that took another 3 weeks. So we were 6, 7 weeks behind the transfer portal, and no one was coming back. We didn't necessarily want anybody back, but no one was coming back. I mean, because they didn't win a game the year before. So we just were begging guys to come. So we didn't really get, like, we got decent players and a couple of guys who are great kids. You know, Elias stayed with us. He's the greatest kid. But a lot of the guys weren't the type of guys we really have recruited at Carleton and we recruited last year. Being ahead of the portal last year made a huge difference. I'm not even sure we had more talent. I mean, talent's a funny thing. Talent means you've got potential. It doesn't necessarily mean you're good. But I don't know if from the outside looking in, I'm sure people thought we had more high-end talent the year before, but we just had unbelievable guys last year. And it's because we were able to recruit the way we wanted to recruit. You know, we were able to recruit and tell them this is what it's going to be like. If you don't like it, don't come. And we didn't need to worry about it because we were going to talk to we were willing to talk to 70 people. If 58 people turned us down, we just keep talking to people. Whereas the year before, there weren't 70 people to talk to. So if people turned us down, I mean, a lot of our guys left and then they could only find D2 opportunities. Like we just didn't have the opportunity. This year, we were able to recruit the way we wanted to recruit and we're able to do it again. So hopefully we just get better.
What do you look for when you're recruiting a player?
Kids who want to get better. Kids who want to understand what winning looks like, how to play in a way that allows winning. People who play like Lou Dort, people who play like Andrew Nemhart. Like if you have 8 guys who play like those 2 guys, it's you're going to be in every game.
Now, talk to me about your assistant. He received an award.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of them have received awards. I mean, again, all my assistants have been unbelievable. Their work ethic's crazy. I mean, we don't really have a hierarchy in our assistants. I mean, I've had a couple of guys who have been with me 2 years and they've been awesome. I mean, I've been really fortunate with the guys I've had, especially this year.
Do you fear that you're going to lose some guys? Because I know once they have success here, other programs start recruiting them.
Yeah, I mean we've been fortunate this year. I mean last year we kept Elias and it worked out unbelievable for him. Jahan's already signed for next year, so that's great. We lose a lot of guys through graduation. I mean we recruit old guys because in our league it's hard to retain guys and it's hard to win without old guys. So we recruited a lot of old guys.
Where do you want to see this program go next?
I think it's just it's baby steps. You can try to get better than you were the year before. I mean, what's our goal next year? We're trying to get to 20, 22 wins, and if we can get higher than that's great. Our goal this year was to get from like the year before it was to get to 10 from 5. We got to 9. Then last year our goal was to get to 15. We got to 18. This year, you know, our original goal would have been 15 to 20. Now it's 18 to say 22. If we can get higher than that, that's great. And then, you know, who knows? Then you maybe get in that large bid to the tournament, especially if they expand, or make a run when it matters at the end and win the tournament, win the WCC.
How do you motivate a player when he's having a bad game?
I mean, again, to me, it's not within the game. I think it's what you've done up till then, and understanding them having defense mechanisms to handle the situation. I mean, I kind of feel like the work's been done before the actual bad game and recovery from the moment of the bad game happens. It's who you are before. If you're trying to fix it in the moment, it's really if it happens, it's just luck anyway because it's just a quick fix. So I mean, a lot of it is just how you practice every day, how you approach every day, and how tough you are. I mean, it's tough to be successful in high level sport if you're sensitive or soft. It's as simple as that. I mean, in the world, it's great to be around sensitive people and soft people, like because you feel comfortable, and it's probably the way you want your kids to be in a lot of situations. As I say to my kids, I want you to be the most sensitive, soft human being ever in 80% of your life. But when you walk onto a basketball court, you better be like unbelievably insensitive and unbelievably tough. And if you turn and hit somebody in the face and break their nose, it's part of the game. Like, stop, don't worry about it. It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to them. But then if you ever did it in the real life, you should feel horrible and be sensitive to that. Sports and real life are not the same. I mean, they're just not. So a lot of it is recovering from being a bad game is just how mentally tough you are. How tough are you? How do you handle adversity? How do you bounce back? How do you get to your base, and how do you trust the work you put in?
What do you tell these kids' parents when you're recruiting them to come here?
I really just talk about, don't come here if you don't want to be a high level pro, and if you think you're already a high level pro. So if you don't want to be a high level pro, or you think you're a high level pro, this is the wrong place for you, because it's not going to be fun, because you're going to be around guys who have been recruited that way who are going to want to work. And whether we practice or not, they're going to want to be in the gym. Whether a coach is allowed to be in the gym with them or not, they're going to want to be in the gym. We've got access to our facilities 24/7. We've got access to a weight room, not 24/7, but a lot. If they want to get great, they can get great. If they don't want to put that work in, or don't think they need to put the work in, or don't want to play at that level, this isn't the place for them. So the biggest thing is, I think most people, I shouldn't say most people, because that's not fair, but I think there are some coaches who don't understand why their players don't react well to them or don't trust them. And you sit there and you go, well, how'd you recruit them? And they just told them how great they are. They just lied to them, basically lied and said whatever they needed to say to get them to the school, and then worried about dealing with them once they were there. As long as they got them to the school, everything was cool. Well, your team's you're never going to have a relationship, which means you're never going to get to a point where you can get good. They're never going to trust you. They see Santa Claus in the recruitment, and then the Grinch as soon as practice starts. To me, it's with the parents is, this is who I am. I'm not going to be any worse. I'm not going to be mean to your kid, but I'm going to have expectations for your kid. I'm not going to call your kid out and be derogatory to your kids. I got two kids. That's not what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have expectations and push them every day. And I don't want you to think I'm not. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, then we'll go get somebody else who does like it and who wants it and feels they need it. So really just being brutally honest as to what it looks like when you get here.
Is it hard to find those kids that want it? Because I've seen a lot of programs, they just recruit anybody.
Yeah, I mean, we get less guys not interested than you would think. And now, in fairness to that, I don't really talk to the kids until the Zoom call. And then the Zoom call, if it goes well, then they do a visit. The visit goes well, then we offer. If we offer and they liked everything, then they accept. I don't see or talk to them that much. I watch them a lot, but I don't really communicate a ton with them until the initial Zoom call.
What do
And
you
I'm
look
pretty clear. It's surprising to me how I would say 80% of them love what they hear. But in fairness, my assistants have probably said, should we even do a Zoom call? This is what it's going to look like. If you don't want to hear it, then don't waste your time or coach's time.
What do you look for when you're looking at tape in a player?
Do they defend at a high level for their position? Do they shoot the ball from the three at a high level from their position? I assist the turnover ratio guy. And do they defend and want to defend their position and ball screens at a high level? If they're not doing two of those four, then there's no point. If they're doing two of those four and you can convince them to work and do the others, then you have a chance. If they're doing three of the four, then we're trying to get them as hard as we can, because they probably fit already. If they're doing 4 to 4, they're going to UConn. So we don't even get to talk to them.
Now, being able to pay your players?
Oh, I mean, Yes and no. I mean, I think I mean I'm old as dirt, so I'm more old school than most. So, do I love it? Do I think it's great for the development of the players? No, don't think it's great at all. Not for their development as human beings, not for their development as basketball players. But do I think I'm old? I don't know if I'm old school, but I'm old, so I have my thoughts that way. That I don't think if my kids are D1, they both play on the circuit, and if they end up being good enough to be D1 players, and they start doing the rev share NIL thing where they transfer and portal transfer every year and just chase money. I don't think that's good for them as basketball players. I don't think they'll develop the way they should as basketball players. And I don't think they'll develop, more importantly, as humans the way they should. But unlike some of my old school or old people friends who are in coaching who only see that side of it, I kind of go, now if they can make $2 million more than they would normally make in those 4 years, they can spend 500,000 of that on therapy to fix the stuff they didn't learn as humans that they could have if they didn't have rev share. Like, I don't, maybe I'm out of my mind, but yeah, money can fix a lot of shit. like, like people say, well, the money's killing it. Well, the money's, who is killing it? It's killing the guys who are chasing $40,000 and transferring every year for $40 to $100,000. That's who it's killing because those guys are not developing as basketball players. They're definitely not developing as humans, and they're really not making enough money to make it worthwhile. Now, the guys who are making 2 million or a million or 2 million more in 4 years than they normally would have, you know what? They'll figure it out. With that money, if they're smart, they'll figure it out. If they're stupid, they weren't going to get it done anyway.
In 10 years, where do you want to be? Do you still want to be here at Pacific, or do you want to go to a
Alive.
major program?
Alive. Do you know how old I am? Alive.
I think 65, right?
I'm 60.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm still coaching, I mean, that'll be great. I mean, I'd love to be in Northern California. Yeah. I mean, I like it here. I definitely want to be here coaching at least until my grade 7 son graduates. So
So you got another 5 years, coach.
at least 5 years, maybe 6. But yeah, I mean, so I want to be here for at least that, and then who knows? Depends if things are going great, and they still want me, then I'd probably stay.
We have a segment here called Behind the Jersey. What are 5 interesting facts that people should know about you here at Pacific?
Yeah, most of the interesting facts I don't want people to know about me. So I mean, I can keep the 5 interesting facts to 5 things they might not know that aren't that interesting, but they might want to know. But I ain't giving you 5 interesting facts because that I want you want to keep your job.
Okay,
You don't want to do too much.
I'm a parent of a thing. Why should people want to come to Pacific to play ball here?
I mean, because in the world of NIL and RevShare and Portal, and my joke is with all my buddies that in our world, 96.4% of what's said by coaches and people in our world is a lie. And the problem is the 3.6 that's the truth, no one believes because they're so used to the lies. So what I'm telling the parents and the kids is if you want to go and have 4 years of trying to figure out what, it's going to be a lie 96% of the time, trying to figure out how to maneuver around the lies. If you want to do that and get a little bit extra money, go do it. If you want to come here, at least I'm going to tell you the truth. Good or bad, I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you don't think I'm going to tell you the truth, then you must think I'm the dumbest man alive to recruit this way if I'm not going to tell the truth when you get here.
Do you have aspirations of going professional, or you're content coaching here at Pacific?
Like NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends who are in the NBA, and there's a lot of things I like about the NBA that it's mostly coaching. It's not, I mean, you're not dealing with, they're all adults, so you're just coaching basketball. You're not dealing with them going to class, having to worry about them missing class. You don't have to, if something happens, you're not the one getting the text message at 2 in the morning. There's a lot of positives if you just want to coach basketball. The problem with the NBA is I got a buddy who has triplets who are the kids are their ages right in between my two boys, and there was a spurt where in 7 years he had changed cities 6 times with triplets. I don't want that for my family.
How do you feel the game is evolving?
Ah, I mean, not for the better. I don't think the way our system is set up is. I mean, there's a heck of a lot of good coaches in prep school and the circuit, like AU circuit stuff, but they don't get to coach because there's money involved at that age. So so few kids will stay 4 years at the same high school or prep school. You don't get to develop them. So it hurts the level of play. And it's not the coach's fault. I mean, they're part of the system, but it's not their fault because they're good coaches. Same with the circuit system. Everybody, like my peers, some will go, oh, these guys can't coach. I go, I've talked to these guys. They can coach. The problem is they've got kids from 3 hours away from where they're based, so they never practice. I mean, I got kids. My son plays on a team in Oakland, so like we're driving an hour and 15 minutes 4 times a week, and we're still missing a practice a week, and we're there all as much as we can. These kids don't get to practice, and it's not because the coaches can't coach. The coaches can coach; they're really good coaches. A lot of the guys I've hired are guys who coach prep or coach club because they're really good coaches. And but they don't get to coach because they don't get any practice time. It's the way our system's made. And then they get to college, and a lot of guys are playing at least 3 schools in 4 years, some 4 schools in 4 years. How do you develop as a real basketball player when you're doing that? You're starting fresh every year. Everybody's just trying to win. Everybody's just trying to accumulate the most talent. No one's developing guys, and they're not even developing the best players. They spend most of their time with trainers, which is fine, but it's not games. It's not a game situation most of the time. And then in Europe, it used to be way better, and that's why Jokic and Luka are who they are. But it's going that way too now in Europe. It's not a lot better. Like a lot of those guys are coming over here because it's kind of gone that way in Europe too. So I mean, are there more physical gifted guys? Are there more skilled guys because there's more trainers out there? Yeah, but can they play basketball? No. A lot of these guys, even the best players, they're not as good basketball players. Like there are not many Larry Birds out there. You look at Jokic and you go, this guy offensively dominates the world. Like no one can cover him. No one has a chance. No one has a prayer because he is so far advanced, even of the best players in the world in terms of his skill set. Shoot it. He can pass it. His footwork. He can score in the post. He can score in the perimeter. Like he's just so far advanced. But the biggest thing he's advanced in is he understands the game. He sees the game at a level that. And same with Luka. They see the game at a level. And Shea's Canadian, so that's why, because Canadians are great. So he sees it at a level. But even Shea doesn't necessarily see it at the level that Luka and Jokic do. He's just a way better overall player because he defends on the other side of the ball way better.
Alex Sarr is a perfect example of a player that should have stayed longer. I don't know if you know who that is. Alex Sarr, he just got drafted
Yeah,
number one
yeah,
because of what you're saying.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that, though. Even the guys who are good would have been way better if they had stayed with a great coach for 4 years of high school and 4 years of university.
Zion
But
Williamson is another example.
yeah,
I felt like he still needed a little bit more polishing before he made the jump to the NBA because his body's starting to break down on him, and he had Coach K at the time.
but at the time there was no rev share, no NIL, and you're not going to pass up that money. It's life changing money.
What advice do you give a kid that wants to go pro?
I mean, understanding the 4 things that need to be done to play at the highest level you can play and do those things. If you're going to go in and if you're going to try to do the things that stars do, then you're going to play at a lower level.
Do you see a lot of kids here at Pacific that want to go pro?
Yeah, most of our guys, we don't recruit anybody who doesn't want to play pro.
Do you pump the brakes a little bit?
I coach guys who couldn't get a scholarship at the worst schools in America. And 92% of them have played 4, 5, 20 years of pro, gotten two-way contracts in the NBA. They couldn't get a scholarship at the worst schools in the country, or got scholarships and failed and came back to us. And now they finished by being pros for the long. I will never pump the brakes on anyone. I will never. I mean, how many guys told me that? And I'd go to my wife. This guy thinks he's going to play in EuroLeague. He's out of his mind. And then 7 years later, he's playing in EuroLeague. Like I will never underestimate what kids can do.
Man, that's a great mentality to have as a coach. I feel like we need more coaches like you.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know. Some days I'm pretty sure my guys wish there were less coaches like me, but
No, man, the game is going soft, and you can kind of see with all the coaches around in the NBA. So to hear a coach like you say these things, it's beautiful. And the way you're leading Pacific is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview.
I appreciate you taking the time and having me on. It means a lot. And hopefully, if I can help you any other way, let me know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
You too.
Take care.
Bye bye.